who should Bray Wyatt wrestle now that he's come back to the WWE? As I said, I want to say it is going to be Bray Wyatt I'm going to talk about and who I want to be coming back. I do not want the Fiend character to come back. I loved the character, but I think it does not narratively work for wrestling. We saw this in two instances, one being the Hell in a Cell match against Seth Rollins, where people didn't like the ending of Seth Rollins trying to murder the Fiend and the match being called off. Because from a narrative perspective, that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense in wrestling, and people didn't like that, although I thought it made complete sense. And also, it doesn't make sense for this monster to lose. For example, it made no sense for him to lose completely clean to Goldberg, and yet he did. But Bray Wyatt as a person coming back and maybe losing matches makes sense, and to be honest, wrestling is wins and losses. Let's get that out of the way. And again, two people I want to keep him completely away from. I don't want him to be wrestling Roman or Cody. Roman, because it's going to be lol Roman wins, which I don't mind actually, I like Roman winning so much. And also, I want to keep him away from Cody because I think Cody will eventually be the person to dethrone Roman. I think from a star power perspective and a storytelling perspective, I think Cody eventually picking up a belt or two off Roman makes complete sense. So, now who do I want the Fiend, not the Fiend, Bray Wyatt to fight now, to keep you on your toes? Okay, third time's the charm, let's revisit Randy Orton. I get it, the first time it was a terrible match, the second time it was a weird match, the third time maybe they'll get it right and they'll have Bray Wyatt walk away with the dub in that program, because it just only makes sense. I know Randall is out at the moment, and I don't know when he will be coming back. I don't think WWE knows when he'll be coming back, but if he can come back soon, thumbs up, that would be great. The next person I want Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend, to fight would be Matt Riddle. I think Matt Riddle needs a serious storyline. I think he needs another one. So like the Seth one was serious in the fact that he got serious as a person, but I want to put Matt Riddle in a place where he would be uncomfortable, and I think if they're going to be touching still on this supernatural aspect for Bray Wyatt, I think Matt Riddle as a character going there might, bring a little summon out of him. I think that might be a good way to take that, but I'm not 100% convinced of myself on that one. I'm not sure how Matt Riddle's performance would be in that sort of situation. I don't want them to play that for the lols. I want them to, kind of keep it serious, which I know is difficult. Like I said, though, Fiend mythical thing doesn't exactly work, but it worked with The Undertaker, so you can kind of maybe do it with the Matt Riddle and Bray Wyatt. The next person, I don't think this will happen because it's a little bit confusing with NXT and what they're doing there at the moment, and I don't think they would call them up just yet. But Joe Gacy, I feel like, the kind of semi-supernatural thing they've got going on in NXT, elevating that to a supernatural thing with Bray Wyatt might work. I've forgotten the name, but there was someone who WWE brought in very briefly to be like an opposite to The Undertaker. I'm going to put a picture here, I'm going to put the wrestler's name with it. But I remember that storyline was going to happen, and then it didn't happen because I was a kid at this point. I was like, whoa, it's the opposite of The Undertaker. And then the storyline never went forward, and I can't remember. I was going to kill me because, I remember the gimmick, but I don't remember the wrestler or the gimmick name. But that might be what happens with the Joe Gacy feud, because I don't think, they're doing it too well in NXT, but maybe if they brought that to main and, they mainified Joe Gacy, that could work with the feud with Bray Wyatt, Supernatural versus Supernatural. The Undertaker Bray Wyatt thing happened, that could have been a great opportunity for Bray Wyatt to get the rub as opposed to Brock Lesnar, but, I digress. But that's kind of where I see that going. Again, it's difficult because the two titles are tied up with Roman, and I don't think anyone's going to take them off Roman. But, people who are Roman adjacent, I think Drew McIntyre versus Bray Wyatt would be a great thing. I think Drew McIntyre is already over, he's supremely over, but I think facing Bray Wyatt would add another dimension to his character. I don't think he's had that sort of feud yet. I mean, the Seth feud kind of was like that, but I want him to get this like really meaty feud, because a lot of his feuds are around Drew as a big man, come fight me, which makes sense. It's great, I love it. But that other level of narrative thing, which I think Bray Wyatt can do, I think is something I want to see Drew McIntyre in. A lot of these is assuming Bray Wyatt is the heel in all of these, by the way. And finally, the last person I would consider, getting Bray Wyatt into a feud with would be Dolph Ziggler. Not Dolph Ziggler. I would probably put him in, if you want to get him really over and power him up, put him up against someone like Brock Lesnar. But again, if you want a Brock Lesnar adjacent, it would be obviously Roman, but I don't want Roman, and I don't want Seth. Maybe Bobby Lashley. I think if Lashley drops the US title today, I'm going to try and upload this before Raw. If Bobby Lashley drops that title, and you want to again give Lashley one of those meatier feuds with a more narrative perspective, I think him versus Bray would work. Again, right now I don't see a way of doing that, because I don't think it's a great way to introduce the character, but that would work. Another, just throwing it out there, would be Karrion Kross. They've kind of got that supernatural type thing going on with Karrion, and then you got the supernatural stuff with Bray. But those are the kind of names I want. I want people where not just Bray will benefit, I want the other wrestlers to get some benefit out of this, and I want the other wrestlers to kind of get a new type of feud, one I don't think I've seen them in either at all or quite a while. So let me know in the comments down below who you want to see Bray Wyatt have a feud with, whether it be someone from NXT, SmackDown, the main event. Him versus Dijak would be sick. Dijak's a big boy, I want to see him in a big feud. But let me know in the comments down below. And that's not usually how I end my videos, so go and watch a great YouTube video, and by that I mean a great wrestling show. Wrestling. Let me in.